Hey, what's happening, guys? This is Jerry over at Wealth Dynamics coming to you today with a really quick webinar on the sacred account. So I'm going to be sharing my whiteboard today, and we're going to be talking about some cool concepts. And I want to really go over the sacred account and just the kind of the concept of it. We're going to stay high level today. We've gone into numbers before, but I want to make sure you really understand, how this thing works, why it's a good idea. Okay, so this is all based on the premise of a couple of things, and I'm going to grab my my stylus here really quick. So this is based on a couple of things. Okay, the first one being you're trying to build wealth. Okay, if you're trying to build wealth, the sacred account's a good idea. It's going to be something you want to utilize. It's going to make a lot of sense. Okay, this is not a fund that you're going to use for rainy day savings. It's not something you're going to use in order to buy a liability or purchase a home or finance your car. I know there's a lot of that out there. Here's my stylus. I know there's a lot of that out there, but that's really not at all the intention of the sacred account. Okay, so I want to show you how you would use it if you're trying to build wealth. All right, so in order to build wealth, a couple things have to happen, and the first like real thing you have to have is you have to have enough passive income in order to buy your time back and become free, right? So we have to have passive income. I know that doesn't look like passive income. Let me see if I can do a better job at that. Okay, so you've got to have your passive income. And that passive income has to basically buy your time back. Okay, so you have to have more passive income or as much passive income as you do expenses. Right? If you have more passive income or equal to your expenses, you're going to be able to be financially free. That's wealth. Then you can do whatever you want to do with your time. Okay. Now, in order to have that passive income, this is irrefutable. You need to have invested into assets. Okay. So you need to have some sort of asset that you've invested in, whether that be real estate, which is what I prefer, whether that be stocks, whether that be whatever it is, like things that produce income for you. Okay, and if you don't have that, then you're going to have issues because there's no way to generate the income. All right, and so in order to invest, you would have had to acquire investments. Okay, so you would have had to go into acquisitions mode, and you would have had to go out and acquire, whether that be, again, real estate, stocks, bonds, businesses, private lending, bullion, whatever the thing is, you had to acquire it. And in order to acquire it, you need capital. Okay? You need capital. You need to have money. In order to have money, you needed to accumulate the money. So what this comes down to is, are you an investor and where are you accumulating your money? Okay? Where is that money going? Are you putting it in a bank? Are you putting it in a 401k plan? Are you putting it in a savings account? CDs, where are you putting your funds as you're saving them in order to invest, okay? And that's where the sacred account comes in. This is the sweet spot, all right? So here's kind of just a concept I want to share with you, okay? We're gonna split the screen in half. We have what's called accumulation on the top. At the bottom here, we're gonna have distribution. Okay, and I want to make sure we're all on the same page about what these terms mean. So accumulation is going to refer to stacking up cash in order to do a deal. Distribution is going to refer to you actually taking the money out for the deal, okay? Or for income or whatever it is, right? So accumulation, let's look at typical accumulation models, okay? So let's say accumulating with cash or a bank, which is where most people do accumulate money. All right. So you put, let's say these are timelines. You've got year 1. Let's say you've got year 5. Let's say you've got year 10, and let's say you have year 15. Okay. You put $1 in year 1, and with a bank, that dollar is going to earn minimal interest. My bank pays me 0.10%. 0.10%. Okay. So 1/10 of 1%. All right. So what that means is if I put in $1, I'm going to have, what is it, a penny? Maybe a penny. I'm going to have fractions, right? I'm going to have just tiny bits of growth. Okay. So because of that, the actual percentage yield on that dollar is very small. Now, let's say that I do pull that dollar out and distribute it in order to go grow my money, right? To go invest. What happens to that dollar? It's gone. It's no longer accumulating. It's no longer growing. I no longer have compounding interest. I no longer have that, even if it's minimal, I no longer have that interest working for me, which makes logical sense, right? That's a traditional model, okay? And I put the dollar into my deal. I put it in here instead, and hopefully that dollar produces more dollars for me on the back end, okay? And I'm going to take those new dollars and I'm going to save them back into my bank. They're going to go back into my plan. They're going to earn a very minimal percentage. Once I withdraw them again and reinvest them, that money stops growing at that percentage. It goes into my deal and the cycle continues again, right? Now, that's a traditional model. I want to show you the difference where you're using the sacred account. Okay, and this is going to look a lot different than what you're used to, all right? So if you're going through this model, let me go ahead and ninja swipe our stuff out of the way here. If you're going into this deal with the sacred account, I want to show you the main things that are going to be different for you. And this is really the whole reason behind the sacred account, in my opinion. There's not another reason you would do this, okay? So you're using the sacred account. Sacred account. Okay, and really quick, guys, if you're not familiar with what the sacred account is, the sacred account is basically life insurance. Okay, it's high early cash value life insurance. It's dividend paying. It's going to be structured to where you can use it for investing, right? So you put the money in, let's say in year one, you put in your dollar. Okay, with the sacred account, in year one, that dollar goes in, right? Now, we talked about interest while you're accumulating. What are you earning in the sacred account? The sacred account earns a minimum 4% gross annual dividend. Okay, so you're making a minimum of 4% in dividends, gross annual dividends. The average of those dividends over the last century and a half has been about 6 to 8%, right? So the minimum is 4, but you can make at least 6 to 8. Now, here's the beauty. Let's say you're making, like I said, 6 to 8 on your dividends, 6 to 8%. And you're like, all right, this money is growing. It's still year one. I'm going to pull my funds out. I'm going to go do my distribution. I'm going to go invest. And here's the difference. When you pull this money out, this dollar still grows. Okay, so you pulled out $1 to go put it into your deal. That dollar you pulled out of the account, okay, this money right here. Let me see if I can change my color. This money right here, this is still growing. It's still earning a dividend. Even though you've taken it out, it's still earning a dividend, okay? So let's talk about what that means for you. If you've pulled the money out and it's still growing and it's still earning a dividend, what does that look like? Well, that looks like practically, let's say you've got that money out for, 5 years. Okay, so let's just do the math on this. If you have $1 in the account and you're putting no extra money in, let's just say you left $1 in there. Let's say you're earning, 4%. And you did that for 5 years and then you went to take the dollar out, okay? So you have this money in there for 5 years, all the while it's still here, all the while it's still earning cash flow, but it's been growing this whole time, okay? And at the 5-year marker, this dollar that you took out is actually worth $1.22. Okay, now I want to just take a pause here. Your money was growing the entire time. You withdrew the money and it still kept growing. That's how the sacred account works. That's why this is a beautiful concept. So I want you to think about if you could do a couple of things here. If you could put $1 in the account, simultaneously withdraw it, still get growth, use the cash flow from the deal that you repay that you're earning on to put another dollar into the account, which is still going to earn, which you can immediately withdraw to get another cash flow payment to go put another dollar into the account. And each time you do that, those dollars keep growing. Okay, let's say you were to put $5 in the account from that. You put in $5. That's a terrible dollar. There's 5. Okay, we said that at the 5-year marker, the $1 was worth $1.22 because it was still growing, right? Well, what does that do if we put in $5? Okay, if we put in $5 at the 5-year marker, your $5 is worth $6.10. You gained an extra dollar. Okay, imagine scaling that. What if you did that with $100,000? Okay, what if you did that with $1 million? Or what if you did that with $1,000 a month? Okay, and how many times would you want to do that? How many times would you want to put $1 in to get guaranteed consistent growth, borrow it immediately out, use it to invest in a cash flowing asset, take that cash flow, stick another $1 in, borrow that $1 out, guarantee the growth there, use the cash flow from that $1 to put back into the account, and you repeat that cycle and over and over and over, all the while you're gaining 22 cents of growth on every $1 you put in automatically. Okay, now on this, there's a couple concerns you're gonna have to really unwrap your mind around. You're gonna think, all right, you're gonna think it's like a retirement plan. You're gonna think, all right, well, if I put in $1, what am I losing? You're losing nothing. If you put in $1, you're gonna gain 6 to 8% dividends and still be able to use that $1. You can still go do other things with that $1 and still get the dividend. Like, this is by definition having your cake and eating it too. Which I hate that phrase. Why would you make cake if you weren't going to eat it? That doesn't even make sense, right? But you're not losing out on something. See, people are used to a bank where when you give the bank the money, if they have it, that means that you don't. Okay? And conversely, if you withdraw that money, that means that you don't have any money anymore because you withdrew it. So the $1 can't coexist in both places at the same time with a bank. With this sacred account, it can. That's why I don't save with banks. I don't like banks. I like my sacred account. Okay? Or you're used to a 401k plan where you put money in the 401k and then you have to wait until you're 60 to even be able to use it. That's a terrible plan. Like, this is not those concepts. So I wanted to share that with you guys really quick. And to kind of simplify, I'm going to give you guys a really quick illustration on how this thing really does lay out on just kind of, you know, a normal illustration. Just simplify it again, not getting into the complexities of it, just how easy this idea really is. Okay, so I'm going to share the webinar here again really quick. You guys are going to see this pop up on my screen. Okay, so let's break this down. You buy whole life insurance. You buy properly structured, dividend-paying whole life insurance, okay? You're starting right here, okay? You structure that life insurance for a high early cash value. That's step 2, okay? Then you take that and you start contributing at least $500 a month to that structure. Our minimum is $500 a month to set up an account with you, all right? From there, your money will grow. Like we said, the dividends on average historically have been 6 to 8% a year, tax-free. And in addition to that, you can borrow against the money and still earn. That is the sacred account. It's that easy, guys. Buy the whole life insurance policy with a high early cash value structure, put at least $500 a month into it, grow the money tax-free, earn the dividends, and simultaneously borrow against it to use the money to invest in real estate while your funds still grow. While you're still earning, on our illustration, 22 cents on the dollar every 5 years, right? So guys, I hope that that gives you a good example of what this account is like, how you would use it to invest in real estate. If you're watching this right now I want you to follow the instructions on the screen. Set up your Sacred account today. Go to www.sacredaccount.com. Thank you for watching. Make sure you guys like, share, and subscribe. If you have any questions, reach out to me. This has been our Sacred Account webinar, our training series. Again, I'm Jerry Fetta. I own Wealth Dynamics, and I'm excited to help you set up your very own Sacred account. Talk to you guys soon. Bye.